Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this Happy New Year call, right voice for you. Having your voice in the world. My name is Yasodhara, and thank you, Bastian and Sneza, for organizing this, and Kaya for translating to Slovenian. And yeah, we're creating like a Right Voice for You class in Slovenia, and we just thought it would be fun to create a Zoom about this class and about you, about having your voice, and about starting to have ease with that. Because I don't know how many of you have been taking this class, or maybe have been wondering to take it, or have been wondering like what is possible with your voice and what is it you're good at. Like how often, like for example in business, do we try to put ourselves out there to make sure we're heard, we're seen, that we actually stand out? And what if you could start acknowledging that you being you is actually what makes you shine in the world, and what makes you different, and what actually is the source of succeeding. So Right Voice for You is a Access Consciousness class. I don't know if everybody here is familiar with Access Consciousness. Is everybody, or are there also people that have never heard from Access Consciousness? And you can write in the chat. So Access, I'll just explain a little, is a very big toolbox with a lot of tools to create with in all areas of your life. So it's a tool of, it's like a set of questions, processes, body processes, and a lot of different classes. Oh, I'm gonna turn that off. Whoops. That you can take, where you can become a facilitator to open up more of you and to start discovering what you're actually capable of. And maybe that's a little more than what you thought you were capable of. And that's, this Right Voice for You classes are such an invitation for that, because how much have we been given up? Sometimes our joy in creation, because we have to do a lot of things, or we have to be perfect, or we have to look a particular way, rather than being us and showing up as we are, and knowing that that is incredible, and then having the willingness to receive yourself and never actually dim your light, even when people are judging or don't like it or walk away. So how many of you have been looking at this in your business, in your life, and have been looking actually for you through someone or something else? And please, if you have questions, you can put them in here. Sneza or Bastian, if you want to add some things or ask some things, please do. So who or what have you been looking at or looking through to find you, to find what you're good at? And everything God brings up, shall we destroy it and create it? Right, wrong, good, bad, for portal, nature, boys and beyonds. And this is a clearing statement of Access Consciousness. It's basically like a magical wand with whom you can like destroy and create limitations that are energetically sometimes present, that sometimes we don't even know what they are, where they come from, how they started existing. And what if you don't need to know, but you can just acknowledge like, ooh, there is something sticking here, either good or bad. I'm just gonna like shove that aside and now see what becomes available. Sneza.
Hello, Yasodhara.
Hello.
I'm so glad for you that you came to Slovenia. And I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
Yes.
So you're also a right voice for you facilitator. So maybe I'm gonna ask you a bit, like what have you if you could say like two sentences about this class, about the energy of right voice.
Wow. The energy is so potent and the class is so potent. It's the most potent class in Access Consciousness. So it is really amazing because you can put down all your judgments and all your point of views about yourself, and you can stand up and show as you are.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And that's like, maybe we could turn that into a question for people. Like, what could you start creating if you would put down all the judgments that you have about yourself? If you start putting down everywhere you stop yourself with judgments. I'm sure nobody on this call ever does that. Like, you start creating something and you know it's awesome, and then you kind of like, well, I'm not sure. Like, what are people going to think about this? Like, and then how many of you just start slowing it down, or you start putting it in a box maybe for later if it's like good enough or perfect enough. Wow. So in this class, you're actually, it's almost like learning how to deal with it or learning how to not deal with it. Like, how can you go around even your own judgments, I would say? Like, how can you go and out create where you stop yourself? So where do, and like, one of the things with Access is that it's about starting to ask yourself questions, not to get things more right, not to get a right answer, but to start opening up doors. So where are you holding yourself back? And if that, and like, please, like, if that wasn't wrong and you would allow yourself to truly like just take a little minute to just like look at that, it's like, oh, is there any area where I'm actually holding myself back? Okay, who does that belong to is the second question I would like to ask you. Because how many places where you hold yourself back, maybe that's in your business, maybe that's with money, maybe that's with your body, or with particular energies that you are, how often have you actually looked around, for example, at your parents, like how much of that you could be, but you never passed by that. So you literally stopped where they stopped. And then later on, you might have created partners or friends. And then how often do we have tendency to actually stop where people stop? So where in your life have you been holding yourself back? And everything that is can be destroyed and created. Right, wrong, or bad, total natures, boys and beyonds. Hi, Thomas Love. Hi. So Anilette is saying the past 3 days my voice has been changing here and gone, and a lot of coughing and throat issues. Is there something I can do? When this call started, I actually got a little better. Yes! So have you asked who all the coughing and throat issues belong to? So for all of you, if you got like things going on in your body, even if it looks like something like an ache or a pain or whatever it is, a lot of times our bodies are just very aware of other people or the earth. And the thing is, if you think you have throat pain or you're coughing, now your body starts making it yours. But what is your body maybe voicing? With like maybe having no voice, no voicing. So is it yours, or is it an awareness of something or someone around you? Right Runker Bapak Podal Nature's Boys and Beyonds. And you can either write in the chat or you can unmute yourself if you would like to. Look at it and see.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
um,
Oh, is it Annie Choi from New York?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
hi.
My voice is kind of gone. So, I know I was at an expo yesterday, and I noticed when certain people pass by, my throat would just close up.
I love it. So, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, and just please, like when you ask questions, you never want to believe actually what's like, you just want to look at it and just like not jump into conclusions straight away. So was your body aware of what people could receive on this where you were?
Oh.
Right, like very often like bodies will start being what people can receive. Have you noticed that with your own body for everybody here?
Yes.
And so, like I know, for example, when I have to read and suddenly I can't read anymore, or I start stumbling over words or like doing like strange things, it usually has to do with like people need a break or people cannot hear what I'm saying. So how did it something like, was it that or was it something else, Annie?
That wow. My voice like came back a little bit.
Oops. Yeah, so you just got back from the 7-day, right?
Yes.
How much did you change?
A lot.
So how different were you from all the people on that, like in that place?
Very different.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, like one of the right voice questions that you can play with for everybody here online is to ask before you talk, like what can these people hear and what can they receive? And the tricky part with like access classes sometimes is that you think like, well, it was a lot of change, but actually like it's like I'm still the same. And then energetically you change so much that people will stand in front of you and go like, whoa, what is this? Can't compute. And then if you start to talk actually from the point of view like I've not really changed or I'm the same, without acknowledging how different you actually are in that moment, like maybe your body will be aware of that and just be like, nope, this is not gonna pass. So if you acknowledge that, maybe your body will start, or your voice will like instantly start creating itself differently right now. Yeah, so everything you've not acknowledged about you, right, wrong, good, bad, total nature, it's boys and beyonds. And how many of you have also been creating things with your throat? Because, an unwillingness to speak what's true for you. Right, wrong, good, bad, total nature, it's boys and beyonds. And everywhere you've learned, for all of you on this call, that speaking what's true for you needs to be out loud, rather than looking at, oh, what if speaking what's true for me was actually about an acknowledgement about me and knowing things about me? And then talk and give to people what they can hear, but not more. Right, wrong, good, bad, total nature, it's boys and beyonds. So how is your throat now?
Wow, my voice is like back to normal. That was so quick. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And it's really there. What if, and I'm a total fan and more of these access consciousness tools, because like things that are like, that seem very real in this reality, what if everything is energetic? So now if you start not buying into that something that shows up is what it is, because sometimes it might be what it is. Sometimes you might have like a throat like infection and you will need a doctor, and that's like, please listen and go to the doctor. And if it's just an energetic awareness that if you're on a fair and I don't know, maybe there were like hundreds of people and your body is like actually giving you the awareness of all these people like in one time, maybe that's a little intense. And if we don't ask questions, how often will we be at the effect and then start getting sick or losing our voice, rather than asking like, okay, what is this? I know it hurts. I know I'm coughing. Like, what is going on? Voice, are you trying to tell me something? So everywhere for everybody here, your body has been voicing things to you, giving you awareness about something. And you've been misidentifying it, misapplying it, thinking something was wrong with you. You're so welcome. Will you now acknowledge that maybe your body gives you a lot of awareness? And now, how can you start playing with that and creating with that? Right, wrong, bad, on insurance, boys and beyonds. So people sometimes ask, is right voice for you about singing? And it isn't. And it might be, but it's truly about starting to acknowledge you and your capacities. And now see, like, what do I do with this? Like, how do I deal with me, with my body, with all my capacities? Are there any other questions or something?
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Hi, Ivy.
hello. I just got home from the store. So I'm a bit, I might come across out of breath.
Yes, but you have to stay sharp with your microphone. If you move your head, it's
yes.
like going.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I had to put the battery in. So as you know, I recently quit a job, or I was not allowed to go back again, and I have been. I have to force myself to choose what's true for me. It's always a challenge. So, and I really recognize that it is a choice. So it's thanks to the tools of access, I have been having that choice again. And what I've noticed with this person, the more I was aware how the job wasn't working for me, the less I could speak to her. Like, I couldn't find words. I would become like a mute. And finally, when I did find the words to say what wasn't working for me, I wasn't welcome anymore. And I really recognize that they are totally like rejecting me or rejecting themselves. And I somehow wonder if I could have done this differently. So I choose what works for me, and they get to be honored for them. Like, I sort of get the feeling like I could have done this differently, so this rejection thing would have not been happening. If you know what I mean.
Kind of. So what's your question?
Like, so what's happened is that, like, the lady totally rejected me. Like, she's angry with me. So I have been using the tools of, you're right, I'm wrong, how can I make it up, like, energetically, and like being interesting point of view. And somehow I wonder if I could have done this differently.
Well, is that really what you're wondering, or are you just wondering how you can now make her making you wrong not bad? Are you, like, how many of you are, so I'm gonna, like, how many of you are trying to change the reaction of people where their reaction to you is a choice they make? So everywhere you've been trying to fold yourself and mold yourself to avoid people's reactions where it's actually a choice they make, can we destroy it and create it? Right, wrong, good, bad, quote on business. And maybe that's not what you like. I'm just gonna pick this on because I think like if I look at my life, this is sometimes something I'm like really doing. Like, and I see some people nodding, so I think you're not the only one. So if like how much of everything that you're aware of right now is not yours?
Yeah, that feels really light.
Yeah. So how many of you are like when you choose something and when you speak to someone or when you ask something or you make a choice, you will actually also constantly be aware and download the entire reality of the other person you're dealing with. But you don't acknowledge it, so you constantly start changing and asking questions from their universe, not from your universe. So, and what if that is actually a place where you give up your voice? You literally give it up because you're trying to use all the tools, all the questions, all the what else is possible while moving through their universe. Right? Nature's voice and beyond. Now, how many people do you deal with that don't have a universe of like question and possibilities? So you start using all your tools, all what you know, like what else is possible in their universe where it's like impossible, 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 no, no, wrong, judge. And you try to change that configuration rather than looking like, oh, okay, now get out of their universe, pull back. So for all of you, in how many universes are you still hanging around? And will you just pull yourself out for a second? Yeah. And this is like, as an infinite being, you just have that you're connected to everything, but it's also sometimes like your willingness to be aware of how aware you are and how quick. And then pull yourself out of there. Like, okay, got it. Thank you so much. Now what am I going to choose? And is whatever's going on even relevant for you?
No.
Right?
I'm like, yeah. I just
everywhere all of you have been dealing with things and you never asked, is this actually relevant for me or my future? Oh, it isn't. Okay. So now what do I want to choose? Right, wrong, about total nature, it's boys and beyonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say keep, like, whenever you go there, keep just asking, is this relevant, yes or no? Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. So you keep pulling yourself back out because you might stay aware of where people will go and then they get angry and they go into all of their distractor implants, which is often very intense.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. You cannot have your voice if you functioned from someone else's universe.
Was that like why I couldn't like, because like literally like nothing, like I tried to find the words and it wouldn't come out.
Well, was she willing to hear anything you had to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right, or your explanation. So that's another thing. Like, how many people do you all have in your life that cannot hear what you know? Literally because it's non-existing for them. And would you be willing to, if they can't hear it? Right, wrong, total nature is boys and beyonds. People will very often make you wrong if you say what they can't hear. So now how many of you, when you can't say it, you forget about it yourself? Or you pretend that as if it's not true. So, and this is an invitation, this class is like, for me, like really where you can start having your voice even when nobody is willing to hear you, even if you cannot talk about it, to keep going on your track, on your way, actually, and just keep going and keep choosing and keep asking, so you can inspire the world for something greater and not wait for people to receive you or people to hear you or people to acknowledge you, but just know what you are and the gift that you are. And like a lot of like a long time, like for me also, that was like kind of a theory. I knew it and sometimes I felt it or it was there. But through these classes, it's almost, I don't know how it is for Sneza, for you, but there is almost no more denial. Like when you do it in exercises and then you just see everybody reacting to, like there is something with this class where you just like, as if it goes into your veins and then it's in your blood and it's there. I don't know, Sneza, you want to say something about it?
Yes, it is amazing. And you said this in such a amazing way. It is funny for me because I'm a doctor of medicine. And I just
that's what the veins come in.
Yeah. And I just imagine how you flow to my ways.
And we all know that's like a very medical point of view. When something is in your blood, it's very, very hard to get it out.
Yes, so watch out.
I hope you all know, as a humanoid, you have the capacity to maybe ask questions and see how you can change them. It's a medical point of view because it's like suiting better.
How can we change this?
Yeah. So thank you for your question, Ivy. And what else is possible? I would totally stick with the question, is this relevant for me? And then, like, for people who have learned in a bars class, light and heavy, these situations you really want to just ask for what is light. Because if it's very relevant in your head, like it might be like, is this relevant? Of course this is relevant. Because like, I don't want to make this mistake in the future. I don't want to do this anymore. But then you have to start looking at the energy. Okay, is this relevant? Yes or no? And then see what's lighter.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, and you also like, it's a great question maybe next time to ask what's gonna actually create the greatest. Because if you, like for all of us, like how often do we make a bomb of distractor implants go off in someone's world by a choice we make or something we say, which sometimes creates so much awareness of that it might be not that most ease. So what else is possible next time? Right, drunker, back put on nature's voice and beyonds. But not from trying to repair or wrongness, but just like, okay, what will it take next time to do this differently so it's more ease on me?
Yeah.
And maybe not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a singer and I would like some help with how to sing with more ease. Sometimes I pressure myself and then I lose my inspiration. Singing gets hard. If you have some tips for me, unfortunately, I don't have a mic. That's always good as a singer, not having a mic. Yeah. So it's a pity that you don't have a mic, actually. Well, one of the things you can start asking is who did you learn singing from? And did you learn singing or speaking or whatever you learned from people that were ease with their voice or pressure with their voice? Right, and this, it doesn't matter if you're a dancer or a painter or if you do business or money, whatever, you can just apply this question. Because how many of you, your primary language is energy? And how many of you, when you have to learn something, you think you're learning through exercising, but actually you're just downloading everything you can find about the person energetically? You just go stand in front of them, or you listen to it and it's like, and now what we do is that we have this ability to actually start also pick on points of views. So how many points of views did you pick on energetically from the people you learned whatever from? So in this case, singing from, and you started locking those up into your body and into your throat. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shirts, boys and beyonds. So how many projections, expectations, judgments from other people, and dis-ease from other people, and contraction from other people did you lock up into your diaphragm, into your lungs, into your throat, into your neck? And certainly like judgments. This is like a thing when you're on stage. Like, how much judgments is there often in a scene? And like our fascia structures have this capacity to actually respond to judgments and create like a kind of freezing in the body, which usually doesn't create more flexibility, but more limitation. So there's a lot of fun stuff that can be done, that can be changed. And everywhere you've been trying to change limitations, for example, with your voice in your body, what energy, space, and consciousness can you be? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shirts, boys and beyonds. That would change that, whatever you're trying to change. That would bring more ease. Are you coming to the class? You might want to look at like if you can join us. I've been a singer for 15 years and looking a lot into vocal problems, and because I had a lot of it myself, and a lot of dis-ease. And what I got was actually like changing it through the body stayed limited. Like it was changeable, but it was always like this like roam, and I would never get to like, I know this is like a magical thing that I can do. So how many of you have known that you can create something magical with your body or your voice or whatever? And since this reality taught you that you had to practice and that you had to get better, you actually never reached the place where you started being what you knew could create what you were actually looking for. And so this is very different in these access classes because it's about being. It's literally learning to be everything you are and not what you've decided you can be. So what have you decided you can be that has nothing to do with what you actually are? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shirts, boys and beyonds. And in the Right Voice for You class, there is also where we talk about beingnesses, where we create an image. So, for example, when you're being a mother, or when you're being a business person, or when you're being a singer, are you doing it from the space of being, all of you, or are you actually doing a certain role? And in that role, how much of your voice do you actually shove aside? So you never have access to all of you. You now only have access to what you've decided fits into that energy. When you're singing, it's like this and this and this and this and this. When you're a mother, it's this and this and this and this. When you're a doctor, I'm just going to take a doctor thing because we got two. Now you get this and this and this and this and this. So you get like the professional one, And then when you're doing Access, it's like a little more of your awareness can come in, where you can wear like different clothing, where you can be a little more funny. I'm not saying you guys are doing that, you know, but like how often do we have all this like limitations, and we kind of have bought like, when I'm in my job, I can be that and that and that and that. And now when I'm doing another thing, I can be that and that and that and that and that. But we basically separate ourselves, rather than knowing like what will change bodies, what will change in a concert, what will make everyone actually greater is not you slicing yourself up into the right chart, but being all of you. And now how do you do that? And what would you have to be willing to receive that you're not willing to receive right now? Right? Because sometimes when you start being the difference you are, people will start judging you until you be it so much that they just start getting inspired. I love it. Like I've heard some facilitators say, like when I started, like just keep going. In 3 years, all the people that like judge you right now, they will start following you. And I was like, what? But how much energy do we often spend to avoid judgments and limit our voice? That was helpful. Yeah, cool. So there is a lot that can be done with voices and changed. And I would just like start asking, what am I aware of when I sing as well? Because you might be also, I'm just gonna wait, I'll read things live in a second because we're echoing. Because you might also be a lot aware of your audience, and you might be changing stuff for your audience. So what are you changing for your audience when you sing? What are you aware of when you sing? Right, wrong, or bad, por nature is boys and beyonds. Yeah. So I would have to see you and hear you, or at least hear you, to actually be able to tap in a little more to this energy. And I would like, one thing I would definitely start doing is poke and pot everywhere you've decided something's wrong with your voice. Right, wrong, or bad, por nature is boys and beyonds. What if there's nothing wrong? What if there's something very right here now? What are the possibilities that you don't think are possible because it sounds so wrong, and it feels so wrong, and it feels so uneasy and hard and whatever it is? So what are the possibilities? And there are so many with singing. Gosh. Tommy Slap.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So what other cool stuff is available in the Right Voice for You class? I mean, not just singing, not just voicing yourself, expressing yourself in various ways in different occasions. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, can I? It's I can. Well, there is a lot of exercises that we do. So some of them are also, for example, through drawing, through writing, through looking at art, or just objects, and see what you can create with it that like is not yet there. So what we do with access consciousness is giving things and giving yourself access to more consciousness. And for example, everything in our life has consciousness. So your house has consciousness. Your chairs, like everything in your life has consciousness. But very rarely do we ask it to activate and to contribute. And the minute you do that, things will dynamically shift and change, which I think is totally amazing. So I do it a lot, like with pictures and with buildings. Because once you start doing that also in your business, like things will start vibrating differently and different people will start finding you, and literally things often just get less hard because you ask everything to create with you rather than you creating against things and trying to move things, but you start creating with everything. So that's definitely also part of the class. Unlocking your creativity, I would say, in any kind of way. And very often that creativity has been like put away because we had to be someone, or because we were judged because we did it differently. And we gave up like the fun and the joy with that. I had a lot of people in classes that are like, no, I don't draw. I cannot. I hate it. And then when they started doing it, they actually discovered like, oh, it's just fun. It doesn't have to be good. I don't have to become a painter, but allowing myself to have that joy, it releases an energy that now, for example, if you are with your patients and you have access to that energy again, when you see them, there is often like this sparkle and this calmness and this peace that starts opening up, that is so different than what most people have today. So what if you could awake a sense of space and a sense of peace where you can start listening to the whispers of possibilities everywhere you are and everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for opening this space now.
Right?
Yeah. I've been avoiding this class up now because I thought I'll have to sing,
Yes.
on the class, like in front of everybody, which is not my strongest point.
Now that I know that.
You will make me.
Well, the fun part is, and I don't make anyone do anything. The fun part is often that people that say that, there has been a place in their life where they actually really enjoyed just singing with their toys or just like having that energy like in their life. And then it usually just take one remark of someone we like to be like, can you please stop doing that? Like, Jesus, you can't sing, or you're annoying. And then we cut that energy off forever.
Yeah, I totally get it. When you are speaking, I'm, let's say, like releasing something now.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful for me, it's like a flower that opens when someone is like, oh gosh, I cut that off completely. But it costs so much energy to actually, so you're fighting against something that you actually love. So for all of you, how many things are you fighting against that you actually love, but that stupid people in your life had a point of view about? So everywhere you gave the rights to stupid people to decide what you can do or what you can be, how would it be to like not do that anymore? Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest gifts in this class. And it doesn't really matter if it's through singing or through walking or through moving, or just like some people in these classes will not get on stage and just sit and receive and ask questions. And things will dynamically change in their bodies. And I just finished a class last week in Brussels where I sent everybody home and I said, tonight you're going to engage. Like, this is your homework for tonight, because you get homework in this class too. And I'm going to give you the task to engage with everyone you're going to encounter tonight. And so there was one woman in class, she has like a family. So she went home to her family and she got 3 kids and a husband. And it was pretty tense in the family. There was a lot going on in that moment. And so she comes home and in front of the door, she sees her son. And she, like, he was with friends and a lot of things. And she was like, and then she got like, oh, I need to engage. And she basically just dropped her barriers and she said hi to her son. And in that moment, he looked at her and it was like, hi. And then she got like, wow, I actually never just say hello without anything else. And like that changed everything between them for that night. And that, like it went on, like she did it with every single being in the family. So with her 3 sons and her husband, and where there would have been a lot of tensity and fights, usually for stupid things, for like go and take a shower or do this or do that, there was total peace. And what if that is a voice we can choose to be everywhere we go? It's the voice to choose to engage with every person in our life. And not engage in the way that we want them to hear us or we want to tell our story. But just taking a moment and be like, hey, I know I see you every day, but how are you? And you don't even need to add the how are you. But it's so different when we start looking at how can we engage with these people. You start creating an attraction, like you become that what will attract people towards you. It's not what you be or how good you are, what you can do. What if it's how you engage and your willingness to engage with people that will make people like you? So everywhere you've been looking, people here online, for people to like you or for your business to grow or more people to come to you, what if you'd start playing with that question? How can I engage today? With the people in your private life, if you're on stage, with the people in your audience. If you do social media, with your social media, how can I engage today with the world? Write Ranga Bapaporo 9 shorts, boys and beyonds, and see what shows up. I always think it's very funny. Like, oh, wow. People start responding or they start noticing it. Is that an answer to your question?
Answer and more than answer.
Yeah.
Even to the, let's say, unspoken questions.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's another thing in Right Voice, where you actually start to discover how you can use your abilities to speak to the things that are unspoken. So you will start always addressing what goes on in people's worlds. The magic of Right Voice for you.
You know, when I was searching for this class, I had a question, who can I have the vulnerability with, you know, to open up in this area? You know, who would contribute to me the greatest?
Yes.
In this, let's say, area of expression. By all means, not just the voice, just by being and everything that you like externalize yourself, your energy, your space, everything. You're expressing yourself even through the silence.
Yeah.
If you are silent. And engage with other people by being what you be.
I love it. And it's that once you get that place where you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and vulnerable doesn't mean like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry and I need to, like, I'm very vulnerable. There is a lot of laughter in these classes because I like to laugh a lot. And there's also the space where things can just start opening up, where what if you could have the sense of space that you had as a baby? Or that you have when you are, for example, with a baby. There is a different sense of space that most people, maybe not all, but most people tend to choose when they are with a baby or when they are with a little animal that's so vulnerable and so present and so spacious and so potent and kind that make very often things that are not relevant just disappear out of the universe. And what if you could choose to be that with every single interaction that you have? So today somebody asked me, like, is there a plan for this class? And I said, yes, there's a plan. There's a book and a plan. And I'm sure the plan will always go different. Yeah. So it's a 3-day adventure that is an invitation to discovering more of yourself, the treasure that we all are, the gift that we all are. Even if you thought you weren't, or even if you thought it would only be if you can be something particular, or if you can be perfect, the joy and the shininess that comes out of you when you just know, like, oh, it's just me. It's awesome. I, by the way, always knew I was awesome. I just listened to a lot of stupid people that told me that I was maybe not that awesome or not yet. And you will see that when you see like little kids running around, and they will run like sometimes naked, but they will totally have the point of view like, I'm awesome. Like, no, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to be able to sing. I don't, like, this is my drawing. It's awesome. Can you see it? It's a horse. No, it doesn't look like a penguin. It's a horse. So what if we could all have that? Just know we are awesome, and create from that space.
So what's magic is available with the voice?
Yes, with us, the beings, I would say, and our bodies, and everything we create. Like, there are a lot of things that desire to be created often through our eyes or our mouth. And if we wouldn't judge anything, like, what can we create in the world that will make the change happen that we know? A lot of people wait with writing books. I'm one of them. And yet, how often do these books or this works desire to be in the world? And like, what if we could all have the point of view, like, who am I to judge, actually? Who am I to judge my creations? Like, what if your creations were none of your business? What if your only task with creation was asking them, hey, what do you want to be? Oh gosh, you really want to be that? Okay, I'll get over myself and just do it. So everywhere you're letting your points of views, where you've made your points of views more important than receiving the creations that would love the contribution of your energy, can we maybe just try to create that? Right, Jorge Bafokpot, Nature's Voice and Beyonds.
I mean, the audio waves, like sound, is excellent carrier for the energy.
Yes.
So you can like transmit any energy through the sound, just like by intention or something, or just by being.
And I wonder what else you know about that.
I do know something.
Yes.
And I would like to unlock something more.
Yeah. You're going to be in Slovenia, right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Is there any other questions, or Sneza or Bostian, would you like to add something or say something? Anyone has complaints? I just love that. I heard someone saying that, and since then I use it all the time because I love it.
You will learn to smile like Yasodhara if you come to the class.
And will make you drink.
Yeah. And you will get joy and creativity
Also,
in this class and much more.
and what else is possible?
But if
What
it's
else
joyful
is
for you to
possible?
have sadness, we can provide sadness and frustration as well. Thank you so much, everyone. So yeah, there is like a race of classes that I will give. So if the date in Slovenia isn't working, you can also look at my website. All the classes are also given online. So if you're far, this class works really well online as well. So there is a lot actually in November coming up. So there's Russia, then there is Greece in one day, so that's different. And then there is Slovenia. And then France. So how does it get better? And there are also a lot of facilitators around the world. So I think it's really like what Tomislav said, like I've been looking for someone who I can actually be vulnerable with. What if you'd start asking who can contribute to me and just listen to that? Like you will know. And there's no hurry and there's no hush. And if it's me, if it's us, we have wonderful Kaya and Maria that will be translating us live. So if you need more information, don't hesitate to contact Sneza or Bastian or me. But if it's in Slovenian, I will have a hard time providing you. And then we will happily just provide what you require and make sure that you can get with us with ease. And you can also just follow me on Facebook, and like we post a lot on my professional page, like things there, inspirations and that kind of thing. So if that's fun for you, don't hesitate to just find us there as well. And I want to thank everybody for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaya, for translating. Love you.
Bye. See you in Slovenia.
Bye. Thank you, Ivy, also for being here. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye to everybody.
Bye.